it's that time again. Go ahead. Get something comfortable, maybe a pillow or something to sit on. Well, I don't know if it's going to be that long, but I am so glad to see you today. I want to talk about somebody. You heard it in the lesson, but I hope you caught it. It's about a special woman, and her name was Deborah. And she was a judge. There was a time in the history of the Israelites where judges were the people who would, they would interpret God's word, and they would also make decisions for people in case there were arguments or disagreements. And Deborah was the only one we have a record, the only woman we have a record of as a judge. And you know what? She was known, she's also known as the mother of Israel. Now, ask your parents or your grandparents or whoever you're watching this with, because Keith sent out an announcement on Sunday this morning, and there's a downloadable PDF. I want you to make sure you do that where you can color it, and it's going to look like this, and it says Deborah, and then it says, "May all who love you be like the sun when it rises in its strength." And Deborah, as I said, was a very, very, very important woman. There are many important women in the Bible, and she was one of them. She would sit under a palm tree, and the palm tree was called the Palm of Deborah. And when she sat there, people would come and ask her to make decisions. And they would ask her things about going on in their lives or disagreements they were having. Maybe somebody was fighting over something they had purchased and it didn't operate like they thought, or didn't fulfill whatever kind of promises that person made. And Deborah would settle those disagreements. Deborah also she wasn't a general, but she was important to the life of the people, not just in legal things, but also in faith-based things, as well as really about the army and stuff like that. There was the leader of the army. There was an important kind of battle that he was supposed to engage in because there was a king who was treating them poorly, and he was going to go out and try to overthrow that king. And Deborah said, you're going to go do that. God says to go do that. And he said, I won't go unless you go with me, Judge Deborah. Now, she didn't have to go, but she did, because she knew and trusted in God's word. So I want us to think about, there are times when we need to stand alongside people. There are times when we need to stand up for people. There are times when we need to let people know that we are praying for them, that we are with them, and that we support them. Especially if they're afraid, or if they're nervous, or they're anxious. And one of the things that Deborah did was, she said, "I will stand with you, Barak. I will stand with you." And she did, because she followed God's word, and God wanted her to do that. So think about those times where we need to stand up and stand alongside people. They need to know that they have our support and our love. All right, thanks for coming. I'll see you next week.